ロベン島もですね、もちろんそこは黒人とそれから混血人とそれからアジア人だけがいました。白人たちも政治派の白人たちは別の刑務所です。もうちょっと南アフリカの北の方にいました。それから女性の方も別の刑務所です。ロベン島は黒人、アジア人とそれから混血人だけがいます。そのグループの中もいろいろ差別がありました。その人たちももちろんみんなが政治犯とかですね、アパルトヘイトのことを反対しました。でも、白人たちはまた別のところにいました。左の方がですね、そこに座っている犬もいます。多分ホームレスですね。ホームレスの方が結構犬を持っているからですね。で今ケープタウンの中はですね、ホームレスの方大体7000人ぐらいがいます。彼もねプラスチックボトル持ってるからですね。だから信号車が止まるときにちょっとお金ちょうだいとか何がありませんかとかサンドイッチとかお腹が空いたからですね。
そう収まるんだって。作ってもらいましょうか。はい、オッケー。なんか落ちてきそう。
Section for children. You guys have decided the life jacket and should be the right one. Okay, so for emergency life jackets will be issued to you guys. We will assist you. Any questions? Everybody happy? Yes. Thank you very much. Enjoy your time.
Proceed to the buses. Please proceed to the buses past the far end of the quay, where you'll be met by your tour guides. Please proceed to the buses. Please proceed to the buses parked to the far end of the quay, where you'll be met by your tour guides.
Accommodate everyone. Is that fine? Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in front of you on your left hand side there is a building just in front. That is the visitor center. That's where the prisoners and their loved ones they would meet. They were only allowed to see each other 2 times a year. When they were here for their visitation, they were allowed to spend only 30 minutes. Language that was spoken here was English and Afrikaans. No African languages. Most of the political prisoners, they were African. So most of them, they could not understand English or Afrikaans. During their visitation, they will just sit looking at each other for a full 30 minutes, as they were not allowed to communicate with any African languages. There was a big thick glass that will divide a visitor and the prisoner, as they were not allowed to do any physical touch. During their visitation, prison warders were listening to their communication. If they were caught talking anything related to politics or anything that is happening around the country, their visitation will be terminated. So that means that they will have to wait for another 6 months to be able to see each other. People that were allowed to come here, they started from the age of 16 years. So anyone who was under the age of 16 was not allowed to come and visit any prisoner here during the apartheid era. Thank you. right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, there is a small building with a green roof. That is the Kramat. Did you all see the building? On your right hand side, the building with a green roof. That is a Kramat. It was built in 1967 by the prisoners. They dedicate that building to the Prince of Madura, who was banished here in the island in the 1700s. The reason why they banished him here, they were trying to stop him from teaching the Muslim religion. He was not from here, South Africa. He was from Jakarta in Indonesia. So he died here in the island, but he was not buried here. They sent him back to his country in Jakarta. So that building, it shows the relationship between the island and the Muslim religion. Thank you. That's where you'll be going to on your second phase tour. It was also built by the prisoners in 1963. I won't be telling you much more information about this maximum. On your second phase tour, the ex-political prisoner, he is the one who's going to tell you more information about what was happening inside this prison during the apartheid era. What I can tell you, while the prisoners were building the maximum, they found the graves. So on our next stop, I will be telling you more about the graves that were found by the prisoners while they were building the maximum security prison. On your right hand side, this is the leper graveyard. There is 1,200 graves you see on your right hand side. Some of them, they are under the bushes. Some of the graves. Robert Sobukwe, he was one of the heroes or one of the legends of South Africa, just like Nelson Mandela. So I'm going to tell you a little bit history about Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe. Their hard work. When they first working here, it was in the early 1960s. They were promised to work for only 6 months, but that 6 months it turns to 13.5 years. They were digging the line. There was no actual reason to let the prisoners to work here, but they were just trying to keep them busy. That's the cave I was talking about, the one they were supposed to use it during their lunchtime. The same cave they were supposed to use it as their toilet. Then in the entrance of the limestone quarry, the heap of stones is the one that I said is called Isivivane, Solwazi. Talking about the leprosy disease, which started from 1846 to 1931. After the leprosy era, all the buildings that were here, they were demolished because they believed that they still have the leprosy disease. It is the only building that is left. It is the only private property here in Robben Island. To the prisons that are in Cape Town, as for Robben Island, it was no longer a prison. The last political prisoners, they were released in 1991. That was the year after Nelson Mandela was being released in prison in 1990. Some of them are ex-political prisoners. On your right hand side, this was the hospital that was only used by the prison warders. Here, on top of the church, there is a long pole. On that long pole, every time when they have a baby that is being born, they will put a flag. If it operates until 2011. The Department of Education, they requested that it must be closed.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on that picture, so that was the last group released here on Robben Island. But unfortunately, he was drowned on the sea. So let's proceed inside.
Where you are inmate? Where you
We have a hospital. It's where those who were very mentally sick were locked. They were brutally beaten and tortured by the security police in detention. And they were brought in that hostel section in order to get some medical observation. And also there were those who survived. In this section courtyard, where people like Nelson Mandela used to eat and exercise. In front of us, we have a garden. That garden. Okay, this is Mandela cell. You are free to take pictures. Inside Mandela cell, there's a bucket, 2 mats, and 3 end of our tour. Any questions?